and a person who has that feeling and does not take action.
Mhm.
Why do you think you decided to take action?
I think what happened with me, Sabrina, is that I knew what I wanted it to look like. I just hadn't dared to do anything about it before. So I'll give you an example. When we were on the mountain, each of us had a picture of our child. Each climber had their own child. So we had a picture of our child on our backpack so that whoever was walking behind you could see and remember, because it was brutal. And it wasn't brutal for most people, probably, but I was not in shape. I realized day one, what am I doing here? I am not, I am in the category of probably will not summit. Okay. I had had a conversation with my family and I said, listen, if I die on that mountain, because I'm going to summit or I'm going to die, leave me there, because either way, I want my ashes spread in Africa. So I'm good. Just let me rot, and I'm good. But I realized on day one that I was ill prepared with as much as I thought I had trained.
Yeah.
Um, but the only thing that kept me very, very focused was that I made a promise to Sipao that I was going to summit for him. And listen, the money had already been raised. It was not a big deal. But and that's why I love the accountability of our friends, our tribe, social media, even because I had been putting out there for 9 months that I was going to do this. And I was determined not to come back and have to say, you know what, I'm going to have to go back because I couldn't sell it. And I really had no problem. And what's interesting, Sabrina, is that they have this phrase called pole pole, and it means you go real slow. If you go slow and steady, you will reach the summit, whether you are in shape. And our lead guide told us your ability to summit is going to be based on 10% aptitude and 90% attitude. If you're
Wow.
thinking it's not going to happen, trust me, it's not going to happen. You might as well not even leave. So I was very determined. And as the days progressed, what I would do is, we would leave as a group, and then you would have a front group, a middle group, and a back group. And whoever was walking all the way in the back, that's who I would walk with that day. I wanted to go slow. I wasn't there to prove anything other than my not dying. And by day 5, 4.5, 5, I actually caught like a second wind. And all I kept seeing was the clarity of that vision, the clarity of my granddaughter, who was 2.5 at the time. And right before I left, they had just brought out the remake, the 3D version of The Lion King. So we're watching it, and she would run up to the TV and she would say, Mima, she would point to the tippity top at the beginning, the opening scene where the clouds break and you see Tilly. And she would say, Mima, that's where you're going, right? And I'm like, how can I come back and tell my granddaughter, listen, girl, I didn't make it. So,
Oh,
so I think the difference, Sabrina, it's a great question, is that you have to have the clarity on what you want. Nothing is going to make you take action like what you want. I see you, Sabrina, and we've only met, a short time ago. And again, the blessing of that first conversation, but I see how much you work and I see how much you enjoy what you're doing, but I know that you're very clear on your vision.
mm,
You're very clear on what you want. You know, and you said it from the beginning, and I get goosebumps when we're talking about it, because when I hung up with you, I called my daughter and I said, I just met the coolest
oh,
woman on the planet, because she is so clear and there was no hesitation. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm looking to accomplish,
yeah,
because I know that the women need this. So that clarity, and
yeah.
I'll tell you what, when people don't take action, it's because they don't have the clarity they have the vision. They just haven't uncovered it. It's buried in years of limiting beliefs and doubts and fears and things that we hear from our parents, from our spouses, from society, from everyone. And at one point, we have to put on our big girl pants
Yeah.
and we have to say, you know what, I'm going to go and I'm going to dig and I'm going to figure this out. And when you find it, listen, women are very powerful.
Yeah.
And when
Yes.
you find it, you're done. It's like watch out world.
Yeah.
But you got to look for it. It's not going to come knocking at your door.
Yes.